briefly, we haven't talked about any movie news on this show in a very long time.
Summer.
Are we going to talk about Harry Potter movie news?
No, so I was going to ask you guys, we've never talked about cast news and all that stuff, but they finally announced a Green Lantern is Ryan Reynolds, directed by Martin Campbell. Martin Campbell, who's made many movies, but he made Casino Royale and basically said, yeah, guys, I am a badass director. So, Jeff, I want to ask you, I assume you never read Green Lantern.
Not really. Yeah, just sort of in passing.
He's always been, I've been completely naive to him. I have feelings about Ryan Reynolds.
You love Ryan Reynolds.
I love Ryan Reynolds, unabashedly.
Do you love Ryan Reynolds as a superhero?
There's no reason for me to not. I didn't think I would love him as a leading man in a horror film like Amityville Horror, and I
should probably see that because I'm very dubious about Ryan Reynolds because that man goes to slapstick. It's like a little bit. He's got a little Jim Carrey-ness in him.
Well, that's sort of why it was interesting
really
that he was going to be Deadpool, because Deadpool. I mean, he was Deadpool in the Wolverine movie, but they were supposedly going to be a spin-off, which now is probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
But Deadpool is that wisecracking. Wasn't that way in the Wolverine movies.
For me, Ryan Reynolds brings to roles just what Shia LaBeouf. Like, I feel like he's a guy who, on the page, it's one thing, and when he comes on board, he makes it his own, and he makes it much funnier than it would be, regardless. But on top of that, he's a very good actor.
About what he brings. Because
I think he's
for most like Blade 3, I thought he shouldn't have been in Blade 3.
I mean, I didn't really like Blade 3. That's true.
Well, but that was one of my biggest problems with him in it. So I'm a little bit hesitant, but again, I don't have any connection.
I think he'll make a great Hal Jordan.
What is the deal? Okay, well, why is that? Because for me, it's like Batman is. I know who Batman is. I know who Superman is. Those are very different roles. But then we get into this, like when they're casting these superheroes. Are they all just supposed to be tough guy superheroes, or is there something unique to Hal Jordan, to Green Lantern?
Yeah, well, I think the Ryan Reynolds-iness is particularly appropriate, and a lot of people were talking Nathan Fillion, and there was that awesome fan-made fake trailer that was phenomenal. But the reason I think people are going to those more everyman kind of self-aware wisecracking types is that the Green Lantern core, the superpower is kind of thrust on this guy's life, and it's bigger than him, and he's sort of bewildered at the beginning as to what to even do. And I think that there is that quality. I would assume that they're going to put in the films of this guy sort of in a little over his head at first.
Interesting.
Which is different than a Superman or a Batman.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Love it.
Love it.
Great.
Yep.
We're talking about a game we all played on the PC this week, although it supposedly is going to be released on PSN, and rumor has it also on Xbox Live Arcade. And it's a game called Trine, and it's from a Finnish developer called Frozen Byte. And this is a very sort of retro kind of game. It's that 2.5D thing where it's a 2D platformer rendered with a 3D engine. And the concept of this game is that the three major classes of role-playing, the thief, the fighter, and the wizard, all happen to touch this interesting magical item at the same time and get their souls fused together, and they embark on a quest to figure out how to undo that and in the doing save the kingdom. So the way you play is move from left screen to the right of the screen, and as the single player game you can switch on the fly at any time between any of those three classes, and the three classes play very differently from each other. The fighter, of course, is the most robust action character. The thief can swing on a grappling hook, which can attach to any wooden surface, and has a bow and arrow. And the wizard can create boxes and ramps and this cool floating triangle thing as you level up. And so it's a part puzzle and part action game. It reminded me actually quite a lot of the original Prince of Persia, not the 3D Xbox Prince of Persia, but the original old school Prince of Persia.
The thief was very Altair from
Assassin's Creed.
Like the white hood and the little,
Yeah. Oh, what did you think of the game, of Trine?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Very difficult at times. There were definitely parts where I was like, man, I guess that's impossible to do. And
really?
Then I was like, oh, I figured it out. Okay. I mean, it's just from the motion of it, getting into the rhythm of it. But The fact that you can swap on the fly was unbelievably satisfying. Having the wizard like shake something and then switch to the thief, shoot it, and then swing, like double swing yourself. I mean, it's just immensely satisfying. So it's a very satisfying game. I would probably prefer to play it on like an Xbox or PSN.
We played it on Steam.
We played it on Steam, yeah. And playing it on the PC just was a little bit like, I mean, maybe I'm just not in, you know, it's like I know what else I can play on it. So it's like, I could be playing, you know, first-person shooter. Wow.
Answer to that as well.
First-person shooter, really?
Yeah, like Left 4 Dead. You know, you play Left 4 Dead on the PC, and it's like, wow, this looks so much, you know, so cool. So I kind of felt like for a platformer, it would have been nice to be sitting on a couch.
Well, I gotta say, I plugged my Xbox controller into my computer, and I played it with a gamepad.
Oh, see, I could have done that. I should have done that.
Yeah, the game supports it, and it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
What did you think of Trine?
Could I have done that? No, because okay, damn. Love Trine. Graphics are amazing.
Incredible.
Gorgeous graphics. Reminds me of, maybe because it's on the PC, and if it was on the console, I don't know if I'd say it, but it reminded me of Diablo 3.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that it's sort of, when we went to BlizzCon last year,
Yeah.
And I came home and I was like, all I want to do is play Diablo 3.
This sated it
It kind of scratched that itch a little bit. And it's a very different kind of game, but the feeling of being in that world.
The feeling of it, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my favorite kind of game. The action-y stuff, the puzzle-y stuff, all engaging my Twitch and engaging my brain. The only thing was, and I wonder if this would be different with the controller, is the swing mechanic, an inferior swing mechanic to other swing mechanic games. But yeah, the using it and then having to I hit up and like it just something was really off with the swing mechanic in the game. I was never able to do it in a really flourishy way, which perhaps is very different when I'm hitting a button. But that the right button on the mouse and the left button, but I can't just hit the left button. I have to also jump at the same time, or like if it's going, and it could never get my momentum right. It was always off for me. But yeah, a really like new idea, like unique and really fun and great looking and just a great.
I completely agree. I love this game. I had such a blast, and it really, quite opposite to what you said, it really re-energized me to play PC games again, because I'm sitting there looking at this thing in 1900 by 1200 on my monitor going, oh, I forgot. I mean, 1080p is nice, but looking at this game, it is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, 1200p on a smaller monitor, it's going to look better.
It's just stunning. It is one of the best looking games I have ever played, I think. And the physics system is great. The way you solve puzzles in this game, and almost every time you enter a new screen, there's some sort of puzzle of figuring out either how to get to these little green potions that represent your experience, which I think is a very cool thing, because it really is. You have really had experience figuring out how to get to it in order to get the experience. I never felt like I found the solution. I just found a solution, which is awesome, because almost any of the characters can figure out a way to do it.
Right.
And I always felt like I am using the playground of the physics and the abilities of the wizard and such to figure out my own way to accomplish this task. And it was so much fun. You can create these boxes, and there's a great level up mechanic where you can then create more boxes and more ramps. And the design is so great, because it's not just a wooden box. It's like it's like clockwork.
Yeah, it's like a Da Vinci-esque box. You know what I mean?
It's so great, and I didn't want to stop playing it. The presentation is awesome. The way they tell the story, it's got this great narrator, so you feel like you're in a storybook, and then the characters themselves are talking to each other, and there's great VO. It's a $30 game on Steam. I think it's worth it. Supposedly on PSN, it's going to be out any day now, I hear, and it's going to be $10 cheaper. So I think it's a steal.
Cool. Yeah.
Great game.